Welcome to the 21st video in the Secrets to Drawing video course brought to you by thevirtualinstructor.com. In this video, we're going to start with portraiture and begin by taking a look at facial proportions. We'll begin by drawing a face from the front view. I'm going to start this by drawing a circle. This circle will represent the cranium of the person that we are drawing. Draw lightly at the beginning stages. Next, I'll observe the length of the person's face, and I will draw a line down from the center of the circle that we drew. Now we'll connect the edges of our circle with the bottom portion of the line that we just drew to represent the sides of the face. Since the lines we are drawing here are the jawbone of the figure, we need to consider that women generally have a softer line here, and men generally have a more angular line here. Now we need to decide where the eyes will be found on our head. The eyes are generally found in the middle of the head. So we can use the line that we drew from the top of the circle to the bottom of the chin to help us find our eye line. Once we've established where the eyes will be placed, we need to decide on the size of the eyes. For most people, you can fit 5 eyes on the eye line from ear to ear. Remember that the ears extend out beyond the sides of the face a little bit on both sides. We can mark where our 2 eyes should be found. Now we'll take a moment and draw each one of the eyes. Remember that this video is about facial proportions. I won't be spending a lot of time giving you instruction on how to draw each facial feature, since we'll be covering that in the next video. You can add the eyebrow directly above the eye. It's important to really observe your subject here because everyone's eyebrow is different. Each eyebrow is a little bit of a different shape and is placed a little bit differently above each eye. Now that we've defined our eyes, it's time to look at where our nose would be found. The nose is generally halfway between the eyes and the chin. So again, we can use our original line and our eye line to figure out where our nose should be placed. In addition, for most people, the inside corners of the eyes will line up with the outside edges of the nose. Again, this is a generality and doesn't apply to everyone. Now that we've added our eyes and our nose, we can now move on to the mouth. Conveniently, the mouth is almost halfway between the nose and the bottom of the chin. Also, for most people, the inside portions of the iris of the eye generally line up with the corners of the mouth. So we can again use our original line, and this time our nose line and the bottom of the chin to help us find the position of the mouth. Again, I'll quickly draw the mouth here, keeping in mind in our next video we'll look at each one of these features in depth. Now that we have our main facial features defined on our face, we can move on to the ears. The ears are found between the eye line and the nose line. We can begin our ear on the eye line and bring it up just slightly. The bottom of the ear should line up with the bottom part of the nose. This again is a generalization, as some people's ears are larger and others are smaller. Once we have our ears defined, we can bring lines down to indicate the neck. Next, it's time to define where the hair is going to be. I'll begin with where the hairline is. It's going to drop down a bit from the very top of our head. Once the hairline is defined, we can draw the outer portion of the hair. Notice that the hair comes off of the head quite a bit. I'll add a bit of information about where certain areas get darker and other areas get lighter, so that when I go back and add my value, the task is easier. Now that I've got my lines defined, I'll erase any stray marks before I start to add shading. Now I can go in and add shading to the face to make the drawing look more realistic. I can also add value and shading to the hair. We'll take a closer look at how this is done in the next video. Next, let's take a look at facial proportions from the profile view, or the side view. Here again, I'll start by drawing a circle to represent the cranium. This time, I'll bring a line down the side of the face. This line juts out before receding. I'll bring the line in and then back up slightly. I'll go ahead and add some indication of a neck. Let's go ahead and decide where our eyes will be found on our profile view. Again, the eyes are generally found in the middle of the head. So using the line we just drew, we'll draw a line for the eyes. Next, we'll decide where the nose is. Again, the nose is generally in the middle of the eye line and the bottom of the chin. We can take a look at the contours of our photo reference or our model and draw the nose and the brow line in their proper positions. Next, we can figure out where the mouth should be. Remember, the mouth is almost halfway between the nose and the chin. Again, it's very important for us to pay attention to the contours that happen from the profile view. Everyone's profile view is slightly different, so you really have to observe your subject here. Now I'll go back and begin to draw the eye in the proper location. I'll add a few details to the nose and add an eyebrow. I'll add a few more lines to help to define the lips as well. Now let's decide where our ears are going to be located. The ears are just past halfway towards the back side of the head. Again, this is a generalization. Now I can add value to the face and shading to help further the illusion. So what do we learn in this video? Well, first and foremost, we learn that facial proportions are merely estimates. There is no substitute for pure observational drawing. Keeping that in mind, we also learned that generally the eyes are found in the middle of the head. We also learned that generally speaking, the nose is found halfway between the eyes and the bottom of the chin. We also learned that the mouth is almost halfway between the nose and the bottom of the chin. We learned that the corners of the eyes generally line up with the edges of the nose. We also learned that the inside portions of the iris generally line up with the corners of the mouth. In the next video, we'll take a look at each one of these facial features in depth.